Hey everyone, welcome back to the Heartwork podcast by Life of Blondie. I can't wait to get into this podcast already. If you're here, it's because you've chosen to unlock your truest, most powerful, untapped potential. You want to improve your life, you want to transform your reality, and like me, you've become self aware of where you lack in your life and how you want to grow and you want to be able to seek the change to become your best self. I'm sorry if I'm watching you and watching my iPad. I have everything written down the way I want to say it. So, you've noticed that you have bad habits and you've set some goals, but they're kind of all over the place. And now you want to be able to narrow down those goals and work on them. And that's what I'm here for. I have been going through the same thing. And I had set some goals, actually, a lot of goals a lot, a lot of goals in the beginning of 2023. The ones that I highlighted are the ones that I feel I've accomplished and still work on every day. Um, and the ones that are not highlighted are the ones that are still a little bit out of reach, but I know I'm going to get there. So, like I said, you've noticed you have bad habits, you're lacking in life, and you decided to take action and change your personal reality. So, we're here, you're here. And I want to tell you why and how you should set goals. So I read this book. It's called Be Your Future Self Now by Dr. Benjamin Hardy. In a short amount of words, the book talks about seven threats to becoming your future self, seven truths about becoming your future self, and seven ways to become your future self. And it is a fantastic book. There's so much knowledge throughout the entire thing. I literally think I highlighted in every page a bunch of words that I felt were so relatable and I could incorporate into my own daily life to be able to step into my future self. And I have goals, right? I have all those goals in that piece of paper. I have a routine set. I have I visualize everything that I want in life, but I still keep lacking. And we're always a work in progress. But for me, I'm just like I I need to do better with, with how I wake up, when I get things done. I need to allocate my time into the areas that I'm working on better and stop slacking or stop putting time into things that I shouldn't. And so, after reading that book, I realized that in one of the seven ways of becoming your true self, you narrow down your goals. You narrow down that vision board that you set up. And you say, okay, I need to be able to make three goals my priority. How Dr. Benjamin Hardy put it. Because when you put your time into three goals and you prioritize those three goals, you're not half-assing, for lack of a better term, all of the goals that you want to get accomplished. When you have a ton of goals, you don't really put your 100% into them because you have so many, so you're all over the place. Um, so now that you know that you need to put down three goals and prioritize those three goals, let me tell you how I got there. And hopefully, this can help you be able to figure out how you can do it for yourself. Before I start this whole thing, I want to first mention that there was a goal in my Nothing is Impossible list that came true. And I never chased it or did anything for it, right? It just kind of happened. And I feel like it's because one, I manifested it. I wanted to be the best version of myself in order for me to be able to reunite with my family. And I had stopped talking to my brother and my nephew right after my mom had passed away 2.5 years ago. And I couldn't connect with them. I had no idea what their phone number was. I had no idea where to find my nephew on Instagram. He doesn't go by his government name. And that goal really made me realize how, even though didn't, I never even, had no way of being in direct contact with them or finding them, it came into fruition because I said it down. I wrote it down and I said all the time to myself, one day we're gonna reunite and it's gonna be the perfect timing. We needed to separate for a little while because we needed to grow individually. There was a lot of pain, a lot of issues that we needed to work through. And now that it happened, I went back and saw that list and I said, wow, goal setting really is the way to a roadmap to your future self. And although I had no idea how I was going to get to reunite with my nephew and my brother, it happened. And it inspired also this video because it made me want to narrow down even more on what I want to be in my future. So, with that being said, let's hop into it. Here's an example of my current life situation. I had set these goals when I first moved out of my apartment with my partner at the time. When I first started to get into the divorce and separation situation, I wanted to go to therapy. I wanted to go to the gym. Those were the two goals I set. And the reason why I set those goals is because I always committed to the gym and then I would never go. I would never show up again. And I always kept saying to myself, oh, well, I want a fit body. I want a nice booty. I want a toned stomach. And yet I was not doing anything about it. Then I realized this version of myself that I was in this relationship no longer serves me. I don't want to be this person anymore. I'm going to find a partner and I don't want to be the same version when I do. I want to be a completely different version. I want to be self aware of my mistakes. I want to be able to have better communication. And I also want to heal from all the childhood trauma that I went through growing up. And I want to fix the hurt that I feel from losing a parent. Um, so I went to therapy. I still go to therapy. I still go to the gym. I committed to those two things. And then I said, I want financial freedom. And my job currently is serving, and it's been serving for quite some time, for a couple years now. I've been a server for like 7 years, and 7 years, 5 years. I don't know. Yeah. No, like 6, 7 years. I started becoming a server when I was 18, 19. So like 6, 7 years. I don't know. Now that I have all these goals, I also told myself I want to get a house. And that's why I stayed at my mom's friend's house for a while. Then a couple of my friends let me stay with them because it felt closer to my job. And I was also just trying to stay in the loop of partying and being close to friends. And I had the idea there, that I wanted to be better, but I didn't really work towards all of those goals. I worked towards some of those goals, which was the gym and therapy. I wanted the house and I worked towards the house, but I never got it. Why? Because I wasn't responsible with my money. And I also just want to put out there real quick, thank you to all those people that believed in me at the time and gave me a place to stay. I know, my life at the time, it didn't make any sense to me, and I don't want to really blame who she was back then. She had just gotten, out of a whole relationship and was fucking hurt from all this shit that happened to her, that I could understand why her priorities were all over the place. She was just starting her own self-discovery, and it was a process, it was a journey, and I thank you for being a part of my journey and for letting me stay in your place and giving me a home and providing me with what I needed at the time. um Little by little I started to really work through all the hurt and all the pain by going to therapy. And although I didn't really have the tools to be financially responsible, I was self-aware. I was becoming more and more self-aware of everything that I needed to do. And when I realized I couldn't get the house, I had just wasted a lot of time, and I had to get an apartment. So now that we're in my apartment, I started to work towards getting my real estate license, finishing that up because I had started it and then I wasted the summer not doing anything, not going to get my state license done. Um, and it was all because I wanted to party and allocate my time into the things that did not serve me really. But I didn't know that at the time. At the time, I just wanted to party. I wanted to have fun. I wanted to, find a partner. And I was working through my pain, but I didn't realize I needed to really give myself the time to get to know myself. Um, and although I did realize what I didn't want in a partner, I was still attracting the same kind of people that I didn't want because I was still lost, broke, and partying. So I was attracting the same thing. And although some of those partners had good characteristics, it's still it was still not the partner that I wanted because there was other characteristics that didn't align with what I wanted my future self to look like. So being in this apartment, being alone in this apartment, I started to work more and more on myself. And I feel like the journey has just been crazy. It has been an amazing experience, to say the least. And it started off with the gym and wanting to go to therapy. So now, currently, these are all my goals. I asked myself first, what I want my future self to have: financial freedom, which is one of the goals that I had from the beginning, which is why I started to take my real estate career exam and all that. I wanted to own real estate, which is why I wanted to get the house, and ultimately I couldn't get it. But that was still a goal, despite me having to come into a apartment and renting an apartment now. A healthy and fit body and mentality, which is why I started to go to therapy and going to the gym, growing my YouTube channel and Instagram content after I got in this apartment. And then I started to really focus more and more on myself and narrowing down on the things that I needed to do in order to be successful in the areas that I wanted to work through, which was my self improvement and my financial freedom and all that. I became more and more self aware of the things that I wanted to do. And I said, you know what? I know there's other people out there going through this kind of shit. So why not share it? So that's a new goal that I set. And then I also want a family, which is another reason why I went to therapy and started to do some changes because I want to ultimately have a family. Now, that's a load of goals, right? And after reading Be Your Future Self Now, Dr. Benjamin Hardy talks about narrowing all your goals into three. And the reason why is because when you have several goals, you don't really know where to allocate all the time that you have and your effort and having all these goals. You're like, okay,
Well, I need to dedicate time for real estate. I need to dedicate time for still being able to go get money to pay off all my bills, and I need to be able to go to the gym. I need to be able to have time for therapy and be able to meditate and journal, and I have to make sure I have time for my podcast and Instagram content. And then in order to have a family, I need to make sure I'm secure within myself, which leads me back to being able to work through my pain through therapy and doing all the things I need to do to prioritize that work.
so it's all over the place, right? Then, after I realized all these goals are what I want for my future, I started to collect them together. Financial freedom and owning real estate, I feel like could be one, which means that in order for me to be able to have financial freedom, I would have to first learn how to manage my money better. I stopped partying as much. I stopped buying weed because of that. I wanted to make sure I wasn't wasting my money on vices, on things or places where I wasn't going to invest. I was really just wasting. I was putting my future self in debt, how Dr. Benjamin Hardy puts it in his book. And I had to stop putting myself in debt. I already have enough debt. So I need to manage my money better. Goal number one. And I'm going to get into each goal individually more and more in detail in different videos. But for now, we're just going to teach each other how to set our goals, the roadmap to setting our goals and becoming our future selves. So that was my first goal, money management. And my second goal, how am I going to be able to have a family without a secure partner? Right? That's what I thought to myself. And how am I going to have a secure partner without being secure myself? I need to understand my needs and my wants, which will also lead me to making great content by sharing my experience as a 24-year-old and how I'm setting my goals, how I'm going through my journey of self discovery. I'm sure you're out there as a 24-year-old also wondering how you can do it, how you can tap into your untapped potential and become your future self. And this is the perfect content that I'm going to give you, that not only am I learning from it, but you are as well. So that's how I am incorporating those two goals into one goal. And the next goal would be being secure within myself. So how am I going to do that? I'm going to be able to prioritize my self care that I already do: meditate, journal, going to therapy, doing my affirmations, being able to share my story with you. I feel like, even speaking in front of a camera is therapy for me. And being able to hear what I'm sharing and my story is giving me that extra push and that extra, like, little therapy session of hearing what I went through and making it a normal. I do like to get my nails done as a little reward for myself, as a way for pampering myself, but I don't go all crazy because I know that I'm still trying to manage my money. But don't neglect yourself. Don't neglect rewarding yourself, okay? These are all ways that I can achieve my goal number 2, which is being secure within myself. Mind you, I obviously have money management as my goal number 1, and that's my biggest one because I eventually want financial freedom. It's the one thing that I feel like I need before I could even get to a family. And it's okay to reward yourself as long as you are mindful of where you're putting your money. If you have responsibilities, take care of those responsibilities first. This leads us to my last goal. So, the one other goal that I put in here, which basically, in order for me to get all 5 of these goals, it's going to require time management. So, mainly for my um, career in real estate and for growing my YouTube channel and Instagram content, I need to be able to have the time to do this and still be able to get my self care routine down and be able to go to the gym and be able to go to the office, make calls, prospect, and also get my money at the restaurant while I work on all these things. So, time management is a big one, a huge one for me. It's one of my priorities that I have to work towards, because in order for me to have a healthy and fit mentality and body, it won't happen without time management. I need to be able to have time for the gym, like I said, have time for my office, for to be able to make calls, to go door knocking, to build that financial freedom, to be able to save money. I need to be able to have time to make these videos for you guys and to be able to talk to myself through it as well. To read, because I love reading. I love to be able to gain new knowledge, and I actually, it encourages me to make more content. It just like gives me more ideas because I'm like, you know what? I need to incorporate that into my lifestyle, like I'm doing right now with this goal setting. And then it gives me the idea to make this podcast or to make this video for you guys. And so that is also going to be on a separate video, time management and how I do it. And that's basically it. I feel like it was very hard for me in the beginning because I had a lot going on. There was several goals I wanted to accomplish, and every time I looked at it, I was like, well, I need to narrow this shit down. But I just never would. I just kept saying, you know what, just keep doing what you're doing. You're taking the right path by, going to the gym and going to therapy and going to the restaurant and still making your money and staying responsible on top of things. But it doesn't make any sense. It's just a bunch of rambling going on in your head. And until you write it down and you narrow down what you really want in life, is when you're really going to tap into that future self, into your future self. You're really going to start realizing this is what I need to work on. These are the 3 main priorities. And as we make the videos later down in the weeks to come, you'll see how I work through these goals. And once you step into this future self with these three goals, then you get to make three new goals. And that's how you should continue going on. To finish this video, the best way to stay inspired by what you want your future self to be and have is to visualize it. And what do I mean by that? Set a wall for yourself to have a vision board in your room, in your, if you have an apartment, in your living room, wherever you want, in the bathroom, wherever you will be able to see it every day. I want you to visualize it every day for that extra push. Set a freaking vision board on your iPhone background as well. That's what I have right now. And it pushes me every day, it pushes me to even come on here and be able to share with you guys this exact video. It encourages me, even after my hardest shifts, to come back home and make my videos, or go to the gym, or chase my bag, or go to therapy, or work on meditation, or work on my journaling. It's just giving me that extra push to work on those three goals that I set. And that's what I want to leave you off with. There's a saying that people always use, there's a method to the madness. And let your goal setting and your vision board be the method to your madness. Let the daily routine you set for yourself be the method to your madness, because it only needs to make sense to you, nobody else. Only you know what you're doing and why you're doing it. So, with that being said, thank you for watching again, and I hope this video inspires you to narrow down all your goals. And although I don't want to say that these don't matter, this does matter, but narrow them down. And little by little, you will get to all of these. You'll be able to highlight all of them. I will be able to highlight all of them. But it starts with three at a time. And then from there, you'll be able to see more and more progress in yourself. And maybe, just like my random goal on the nothing is impossible list of reuniting with my family, maybe there's goals out there for you that you don't even realize are coming your way. And they do, just randomly. They just come your way. So, include everything you want on your vision board, but work on them three at a time. Okay? I am so grateful for you guys. Thank you so much for watching this week's video. I always start with affirmations and gratitude, and I end with gratitude, and I always forget. So, my three affirmations is: every goal that I set, I accomplish. I always know what I want in life and I chase it, and the universe is always guiding and protecting me because I work hard on what I want. And for my 3 points of gratitude, I want to say thank you again. I'm always going to be super grateful for you guys watching my videos, because you guys are helping one of my goals come true. And another point of gratitude is the fact that I have a job, the fact that I have a car, and the fact that I have a life so full of abundance already, and full of happiness, and full of self care and self awareness and self improvement, that I can also be able to share with you and be able to give somebody a little piece of advice or a little push to get through hard times, or to get through a little bit of a rut, or to find a way of setting their goals or reaching their future self, being able to reach their best version of themselves through my journey. So I am so grateful to be able to go through this life with you and sharing my journey for you to learn something from it. And it's amazing. It's honestly one of the things that I already have in my vision board. I want to be a life coach one day and be able to help people. And yeah, I I'm so grateful. I'm so happy that I am here and I've stepped into this version of myself and confidence to be able to get in front of the camera and share that with you. So I hope you have a beautiful day. By the time you see this, it will be Thursday. So have a beautiful Thursday. And I can't wait to see you on the next week's episode.